Okay, final chapter time. Let's see what we got going on. I wonder how much things will change before the end. Okay, and then we got this boy. My Leo boy. Can I skip to begin? No. We start on a new branch. Okay. Color me intrigued. To say that I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home to after a long day at work and a trip to the bar. And when I see Hana near prostrate, I can only feel dread. She twitches and seizes, body wound and coiled tight before trashing, shuddering, and shaking. Like a woman possessed, her mouth falls open and her eyes roll to the back of her head. It has the hallmark signs of a seizure. The symptoms are similar enough. And that knowledge, the fact that I know this, only makes me feel worse. Any anger I had caused by our disagreement on parting ways, no matter how temporary she claimed it to be, disappeared. The alcohol-induced daze that I felt was brushed aside as I rushed to help her. Ah, so it is different. None of that mattered at the moment. But to hold her close is all I can do while she trashes about. I know this is wrong, that I'm not supposed to hold her down. Yet I do it out of instinct, reflex even. I'm terrified of hurting her, but I see no other way to keep Hana from hurting herself. It takes a lot to keep myself from running off to get help when she needs me here. And it takes everything I have to keep myself intact. When she says my name, I realize that the seizures have stopped. But that doesn't make the dread go away.
Please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
The sight of her tear-streaked face is enough to twist the knife in. It does not help that I'm as lost as she is right now, and all I can say is...
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
Ooh. This is different. We're down here. I think we were in the bedroom last time. How interesting! So even just changing the character relationships changed how we started this chapter. Okay, color me intrigued. It takes a bit to go through the house with my inebriated self. That's even made worse by the fact that I had to carry a nearly unconscious person as well. I was about to give up too, up until Shroken shows up to lighten the load. He quietly takes her from me without question and brings her up to the bedroom. And me? Well, I couldn't bring myself to follow. Not right now. Not while I'm drunk and rattled by what had transpired. It's a miracle I was able to help at all. So here I am, sulking in a parlor chair with a glass of wine in hand. I can't even remember what particular vintage it is, and I practically did not care right now. I'm drunk. The solution is drink more.
Because when you're already drunk and still have problems, even more alcohol should help.
It's like he responded directly to me. More alcohol. Of course, the butler chooses now to appear and be unhelpful.
You know what actually solves all problems? Death. But it is not recommended.
Damn.
Alcohol isn't a true solution either.
It's worked well enough for me.
I'd like to believe that I get my best ideas while I'm thoroughly hammered. Not everyone might agree, but they can't really do anything about it, can they? With a fuck ton of money comes great power. Sometimes responsibility. I read that in a comic book somewhere. And with that responsibility comes a lot of reasons to get drunk. Of course, I can just tell responsibility to sod off if I was feeling reckless. Christ, I must be really drunk if I'm thinking in circles. I just need something to focus on and I should be fine.
How is she? Is she alright?
If panic crept into my voice at the question, I don't let it show. It would be a show weakness to be so frazzled, to show so much concern over a woman who was going to put me aside. People like him who work for me, I trust with business, but not with myself. Never with that. Only Hana has come so close. Only she has truly seen the man beneath the facade. Only her actions can wound me so.
Sleeping. Aside from a few bumps and bruises, she seems to be fine. A maid is watching over her for now. It is best not to leave her alone.
Which maid, though? Shroken?
But if I may ask, what happened? I was in the gardens when I heard screaming. Did you...
Oh. He thought that maybe we might have put her in this state.
No, it wasn't me.
Me? I'm quick to be on the defensive. I may be capable of a lot of horrible things, but I would never harm her, of all people, no matter how angry I might become. I would never lay a hand on her to hurt her.
I didn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything like that. I don't even have a reason to.
I kind of wish we just had drunk Luke all the time. Oh, why is this voice actor so amazing? Good grief.
You don't consider her wanting to be a part as reason?
It is it. Well, it is. I don't want to talk about it right now. But what happens was I got home. She was seasoned in the kitchens. Is she ill?
Not that kind of doctor. But I've already scheduled your physician for a house call tomorrow morning. We'll still have to monitor her as soon as she wakes up and...
Oh god, things are coming back to me. I need a drink.
Really? You're still drinking?
I need a drink.
Why, yes, it seems to be the bloody best time to be drinking. I'm allowed, aren't I? After all, I've just found my wife having a seizure, and I shouldn't give two shits about it. Not when she's about to leave me.
But I do. Goodness, I do. Oh, smash drunk. Oh, I can't read that. Bells? Something? A big, generous gulp just makes it so that the taste of cherries, raspberries, and strawberries wash over my tongue. The thing too sweet considering its deceptively earthy aroma. That sounds delightful. I'll have one of those, please. Avens. Really? That looks like a B. That's a... I guess it's a V. Sheesh. Avens Vineyard Seasoned Red isn't really something to scoff at. I've had many good memories with this particular drink. This particular bottle, in fact, was a gift. It serves the purpose Lady Blairno had given it to me for. To forget. Blairno. Blairno. Why does that ring a bell? Blairno. That wasn't the name... I don't know why I suddenly started sounding drunk. That wasn't the name! Was that the last name of Mariko in Soulset? Blairno? I feel like it is. Am I crazy? Huh. I need to check on that after. All the same, whether I took this bottle or a Pinot Noir, it is just a means to an end. I will probably have to finish the whole bottle to get drunker than I already am.
But no, she doesn't need to be taken care of. If she wants her time apart, she'll have it.
It'll break my heart to just let her go, but she deserves this much, doesn't she? We both deserve this much.
She's had her uses.
Ouch. She's done a lot for me in the 7 years we've been together. I pursued her at first for the money. It was supposed to be strictly business. There might have been a time, too, when I considered taking her out of the picture so that I can do with the money as I pleased. Really? I had planned to manipulate her, and I feel horrible thinking about it. But along the way, I had changed. If only for her. Perhaps my father would scoff, tell me I've gone soft. Maybe I have. Does it matter? 7 long years. It had its ups and downs, and it certainly hasn't been a perfect marriage. We had our fights. Who hasn't? But those small moments where we could just laugh and be our happy selves were always magical. They made all these years worth it, and I had seen many more years to come. Oh man, that breaks my heart. So where did I go wrong? I've loved only 2 women in my life. Mother dear, bless her soul. And Hana, who has been my sunshine for so long. Losing her, I fear that I might become more like my father. Had Damien Wright stayed with Mother or any of the other numerous women he's had a child with, would he have been less of an embittered shell of a man? Would having a darling love in his life made him a better person? Perhaps it is bias of me to doubt so. I don't think I can ever see the old man in a favorable light.
I'm just surprised that you're not afraid. She might be leaving with delicate information.
Oh, she might know something. But if she hasn't done anything with the knowledge for this long, I don't think she would do anything now. If she had even an inkling of what I've done, what I'm capable of, she'll know it's not a good idea.
It's just not a good idea.
Hana's a smart woman.
Smart, kind, hardworking, generous, loyal. I can go on and wax poetic about her if I had any talent with the stuff. I wonder if things would have turned out differently if I listened to McCullough. If I talked to Hana, maybe asked about her plans and what she wanted, she wouldn't be leaving me. Like a pretty bird, I wanted her in a cage. And now I must let her free and hope she flies back to me.
Why don't you sit down and have a drink with me? Don't worry, it's not poisoned or anything.
Lonely? Oh, I suppose there's no harm.
Dang. With a shake of my head, I procure another glass and pour some of the red wine. Watching the red liquid is fascinating all on its own with my muddled brain that I barely notice sloshing some of it and staining my suit. Aw, man. It'll be an utter bugger to clean, so I'm glad that it isn't my problem. Handing it over, I can't help but look up at the ceiling and let out a sigh. My eyes, damp, glaze over, though I won't let it go further than that. Raising my own glass for a toast, I clear my throat.
We drink to... Do we really need a reason to? The world is messed up. War, terrorism, famine, poverty, loved ones and love lost. The world is a cesspool. Might as well be drunk if we're going to drown in it.
A bit less eloquent than your usual speeches, but zum Wohl.
That. A sip. A gulp. Refill. Rinse and repeat until the bottle of Veln has barely a fifth left. I must have drunk most of it, because I barely see Shrokin take a sip after his first glass. It certainly feels that way. I don't even think I can stand up, let alone walk. I'm all legless. My mind just feels so funny, and everything else is equally hilarious. Bloody hell, I think I can make out faces of a bald man on the wallpapers. With the butler also standing up, he looks like a skyscraper from where I'm seated.
Jesus Christ, I have Sasquatch as a butler.
Oh god. I have a great alcohol tolerance, so this, seeing how I'm a giggling wreck right now, is, I assume, really bad. If there is any sober part left to me, it'd probably shrivel up and die just thinking of the hangover that'll come in the morning. But I can't help but get distracted at the sight of moonlight peeking through the curtains, shiny and shimmery and absolutely splendid. Even if the night brought calm, it is the moon that always enamored me so. It is a second sun, but just as beautiful as my sunshine.
I want to go out and look at the moon. Mommy, I can't feel my legs.
He's gone.
Mutter, I am not.
Muta.
Don't tell me I have to carry you upstairs to bed.
You know, Hana, she told that photo man that I was a trying husband. I can't even.
That photo man. At least when you're completely drunk out of your mind, you're less racist than when you're sober.
The nerve of them, right? He goes and takes her out shopping, and they give me lip service in return. I bet they were talking shite while they were in the store spending my money. Am I a trying husband, Joe?
Joe.
I wouldn't know. You're not my husband, are you?
Damn.
But you are a trying Dummkopf when you are this drunk.
I didn't even do nothing. I did my best to behave decent.
I'm so curious about these story updates.
Whiskey and Mint are just good friends, that's all. And that Rochelle woman's baby isn't mine.
Isn't mine.
I swear, I couldn't love any other woman than Hana. Hana must be so tired. I'm a brat, aren't I? She said as such. I don't want Hana to leave me, Joe. Oh God, she's the love of my life, you know? I'm a shy human being without her. I should... Flowers.
I should flowers.
Lots and lots of flowers. All of the flowers.
Every flower.
Enough to make the Queen's Gardens look like a fucking dumpster fire in comparison.
All well and good, but you are not achieving any of that while you are lying on the carpet. Now, if you can lift your skinny ass and work with me. 1, 2, 3.
But I don't want to go to bed. The moon is so pretty tonight.
I should just let you sleep on the ground, bratwurst.
You should. It would be worth it. That was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed that more than I should have. There it is. Luke left Hannah in Johan's care after the incident at the kitchen. Pissed off at the recent events and a possible divorce looming at the horizon, he dedicated the rest of his day to getting hammered, stopping only after his butler intervened. I mean, he ran out of drink. That's basically what happened.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty face from day to day. Come on, Mummy, wake up. I want to be in that play. Mummy, wake up. You promised that you'd help me practice my lines today. The auditions are tomorrow, so I have to practice. The last syllables of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way to Dusty. Mummy, are you...
I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. In the dark and cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy, though, when I'm bloody freezing. Nudging the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hug the sheets, Hannah.
She always did this, though it hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800. Besides, the warmth that Hannah exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chilly it is right now. I must be considerate. After all, the poor dear is... ill, though I loathe to think about what had just transpired.
Don't make me pull those sheets off you. That blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You need to share.
It takes a while.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
Okay, so so she still calls him honey. There's no sign that they'll be moving where they lie. Okay, are we... Yeah, we are. Okay. Don't have to see Miss Creepy creeping under the bed. That's alright. Let's look at it, though. Just look at it. There we go. Read that before. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is how long Hannah's patience with me will last after the incident at the party. Neither the deafening silence nor the biting chill spreading across every room in the place. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel. So I wait for another second. Okay. So this is Zach. Let's see. Less than he deserves. Hannah will disapprove, scold me for treating the man with such disrespect if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him, after all. Treats him like a friend she's known for years. But she's not here, isn't she? But she doesn't know.
You! Again! It's bloody 6 in the morning! What the hell is it now?
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hannah's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens it's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting, even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. Ah, that's why it's like, no, you have a hangover today. In the meantime, the bigger problem at hand. A hangover. Maybe I'll have some absinthe to temper it. Dog hairs. Or some wine to help get me back to sleep. It's still early. 1 glass won't hurt. Or 2. Whatever the case, I need to think, whatever that will lead me to. It's nothing. Everything leads to nothing. Except for this pounding headache, as if my mind will burst at any time and leak out of my ears. My vision swims in and out of view. My stomach threatens rebellion, with plans of making me throw up what little food I've taken in with how my mouth feels like it's filled with cotton. One would think that the fact that I'm hungover would make me the grumpiest person in the room. But, as it is, my eyes move over to Hana, who is stirring sugar into her tea and scowling down at it, all the while as if it has just murdered a baby in front of her. That's... wow. I have half the mind to bemoan my current state and make a fool of myself just to make her smile. And I'm rather good at bemoaning. Not that I would admit that. Why, I'm already adopting the posture of a whiny teenager as I speak, slouched forward with my cheek on the table.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, God, I'm dying. Hana? Johan's, call an ambulance, please.
Why are you sobbing your eyes out, Luke? Oh my goodness. Are you okay?
Let it be known that I leave all my belongings to Hana right knee Evans. Everything but 30,000 quid.
And who does the 30,000 go to?
But oh, I see a bright light. I see a farm.
Yeah?
Mother dearest, is that you? Little Lucille is on his way home.
Home.
I'm so sorry, but I must leave you, Hana. Cover my face. Your eyes dazzle. I die young.
End scene. That much I can manage through the hangover. A thing entirely of my fault, considering I've twice drunk the night before. Another thing I will never admit. Really, it's a miracle I haven't accrued alcohol poisoning yet.
Oh, stop being so melodramatic, Luke. Besides, you never lived in a farm. You hate farms.
Damn.
We are not bringing you to the hospital for a hangover. Really? One would think you'd be used to it by now with how stubborn you are about your drinks. Dare I ask what the 30,000 quid is for, though?
It pulls a small smile from her for a moment, but the pinched look on her face returns quickly enough.
He lost a bet with Robert and Elise after a night of drinking at the Crawl. 10,000 each.
Ah.
And another 10 to me.
Ah. The sneer that makes its way on my face doesn't hold as much heat as it usually does. It's just a bit of friendly ribbing. Though I still wish he wouldn't tattle. Of course it was my fault for mentioning the money. It wasn't like anyone will notice 30 grand missing from millions, though. That's how much I spend on a normal weekend.
Oh, must you be such a teacher's pet? I told you not to talk about it.
Teacher's pet.
I'm having second thoughts about moving to the penthouse. If this is what you do when I'm not looking.
I've almost forgotten about that little arrangement, too. Shame. Hopefully that's the reason why she's so intent on glaring at the table until its varnish peels off. The alternative would be... sobering.
It was that one time. I'm not a child in need of minding or mother hens. As much as I'd love for you to stay, you said you need some time to yourself. Don't let the fact that I lost a bet once make you think I have to be supervised.
It wasn't. I'm just worried about you, Luke. I'd be less so if you actually sat up.
Why are you worried about me? I'm more concerned about what your doctor told you. How did the house call go?
I didn't want to intrude on her privacy when the doctor arrived. A ridiculous sentiment, considering I am still her husband. But it wasn't like I could have done any good being there, what with nursing a hangover and all. However, a part of me feared what would be said. Not to mention I trust that Hana would tell me if it is something serious. Of course, it probably is something bad, and I would be a fool to hope otherwise. I found her having a seizure, for goodness sake. I should have rushed her to the hospital as soon as she awoke, but it was her insistence that kept me at bay. A cup of tea finds itself in my hands, an attempt to appease me, no doubt. But I don't bother to drink, let alone look up. If anything, I just press my forehead on the table to hide the childish pout on my lips. Not that this is any better.
It was fine. The physician took some of my blood, and he scheduled me for a few lab tests tomorrow morning. I've already called for a driver and attendant to accompany me, so there's no need for you to worry.
And what? You'll just be leaving me behind then? And I don't think you should be going anywhere alone.
You hate hospitals even more than you hate farms, Luke. And Kylie's coming for your play date tomorrow, remember? Relax. I'm taking Johans with me if it makes you feel better.
Herr Dr. Hobbs asked that I keep her under observation for the time being. Naturally, I'll be reporting my findings at the hospital.
Okay. Sitting up, I run a finger over the rim of my teacup and mull it over. I do hate the bloody place. I thought hiring Drunken would have been enough for me to avoid the place. Apparently not. Bloody doctors and bloody sick people. I don't want to catch anything contagious. I can't even tell crying people to shut up if they get too annoying. Respecting their grief, my arse. Damn. Save for a life and death situation, I'd rather avoid the mass graveyard that hid beneath the sterile air and white tiles. I mean, I do understand. Anytime I go into a hospital, I feel like I'm going to catch the death.
I guess you two can go without me. But I can't believe how naturally you two conspire behind my back. Don't expect my help if those bloody doctors bleed you two dry. Vampires, every single one of them. Not as bad as lawyers and politicians, but close enough. You do know Kylie will be upset when she finds out you're not here tomorrow. Again.
Again?
She'll be happy enough to spend time with her fairy godfather, I'm sure. You're a good role model for her, despite your whining.
No matter how many times Hana claims that whining is unbecoming of me, I never listen. It's not like anyone that matters is here to judge. Well, it's not like anyone else actually matters. I'll whine if I bloody well want to, and I'll be no lesser because of it. Of course, I will not tolerate another person's whining. Except perhaps for Hana, but she hardly ever does that. Even right now, I can see as a look of pain passes on her face and her hand goes to her stomach. Yet she keeps quiet, not bringing it up or complaining. What should I do? I mean, I think calling for an ambulance is a little over the top. Just ask if she's okay.
Are you all right? Should we be concerned? Maybe we should bring you to the hospital now.
Yeah, she liked that.
I just feel a little queasy, that's all. A bit more tea in me, maybe some more sleep, and I'll be right as rain.
I don't think he knows she's pregnant in this run. I've spent a lot of time around people who lie for a living, and I can't help but feel that there's more to it than just that. Maybe it is, just as she says, and I'm overthinking it. But I trust Hana will fess up before things can get any worse. She's never really lied to me before. Nothing big, at least.
If you're sure, I'm just worried. You'll tell me if anything is wrong, right? You do know you can still trust me. That I do still care about you.
Aww.
I know that. I'm just going to be moving out soon. Even if it is for a short while, you won't always be there for me.
Aww.
Did you finish packing before you... I understand if you haven't. And I won't blame you if you've changed your mind after what happened. You can stay until you feel better.
I'm still moving. It isn't like you can't visit to check up on me. Although that does somewhat defeat the point. Luke, I'm a big girl. I'm going to get a checkup tomorrow, take whatever pills they tell me to get, and get over it. You really don't need to worry. I'm fine.
Oh, I do so hate those words. I hide my scowl by taking a sip of the tea, for fighting off the urge to hurl the cup at the wall. I'm fine, she says. A lie. Apparently, the sour disposition I have, one not entirely born from my hangover, is still obvious. Without saying a word, Hana puts her hand on mine and squeezes it tight. Her hands are cold and clammy. Her grip is weak. I can see the small tremors that run along her shoulders and the paleness of her cheeks. She has yet to recover from what happened to her. She's not fine. And I'm not either.
Fine. I don't need to like it, but fine.
I don't think either of us really like it. But I do think it is for the best.
Perhaps we should bring you back to bed. The sooner you are off your feet, the better.
Is that some sort of roundabout way of saying that you want to sweep me off my feet and take me to bed? This isn't our honeymoon. I need rest, mister.
I am aware that this is the farthest thing from our honeymoon. This isn't how things are supposed to be. Hana isn't supposed to leave. I'm not supposed to let her. And if she ever did leave, it's supposed to be on my terms. Everything is going wrong. But I respect her enough to let her have her space, as she so puts it. If divorce is brought up, however, well, that's another matter entirely.
Really now, you shouldn't have gotten up in the first place. Breakfast in bed exists for a reason. Come on then, back to bed you go.
Are you going to carry me to bed then?
She looks so happy.
You're far too heavy for that. Johans could carry you, if you'd like.
Can you blame me if I enjoy food too much? I can walk, thank you very much.
Sad thing is, he did carry her. Or he tried to, I think. Last time. I don't say a word as she clutches my arm to steady herself. Oh, man, my heart. It's breaking. What else did I expect? Oh my goodness, what a scowl. Come Sunday morning, Luke woke up with a huge hangover to Hana's utter displeasure. Regardless, she informed him of her plans to see a doctor back at the city. Something her husband immediately worried about, which she allayed with gentle reassurances. There's no protest as she uses me as a crutch while going up the stairs. But that's as far as I want to go. Judging by the light blush on Hana's face, she's gotten self-conscious about it too.
Johans, look after her, and you stay in bed. I just need to go out.
I'll have plenty of time to be lonely in the mansion by myself when Hana moves out. For now, I can go and stretch my legs. Fresh air, all that. Breathe. Just breathe. Hello, lady. Totally not creepy at all. Okay, so all of that played out the same. Grand. I will still give you flowers. So pretty. It was all pleasant at first. Here you go. I still love you, girl. I still get you flowers. Even if it wasn't for you at first. Okay. I didn't get any sleep. Not a single wink. I was so busy jumping at every shadow and worrying about waking with a knife in my chest. Or not waking at all. Even when Hana wakes, in spite of a mild fever, and goes downstairs for breakfast, I stay in bed, thoughts of poisoned food running in my head. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all. But for it to return as it should be feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back to normal, and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. And with how it looks outside, it seems that the weather is making up for all the sunny days it's given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. With how it looks outside, it seems that the weather is making up for all the sunny days it has given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. Deja vu. It does let up within the quarter of an hour. However, a day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxburn's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. Okay. So it cleared up. Kylie's coming. Okay, apparently this is still all new. I hope they did a damn good job of fixing this place, because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. I don't like the idea that the realty did a horrid patch job with the place. Well, Hana, technically, paid millions for the place. It better live up to the price the realty company sold it for. Roof problems aside, she's going to be a definite downer about this as well. She hates the rain. Then again, who actually does? What sane person would like it when 9 out of 10 days consist of nothing but dark, drab, and gray skies and piss water pouring from the heavens? And she was just starting to enjoy the sunlight. I will have to get up and about eventually. That is a given. But I'm not too keen on seeing or talking to Hana before she leaves for the hospital. Or eventually, in a few days' time, this bloody house. Kylie won't like it if she comes here only to find me in a bad mood. Few would dare rouse me from bed. Being able to keep their jobs is incentive enough. I trust they realize that now is not a good time to force me into anything. Maybe I can just get an hour or two of sleep before Suarez drops his brat off the mansion steps. If only. But as always, somebody has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
Maybe.
What do you want?
Okay, it's
You
still
must have
new.
been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered. Truly. Not even the slightest bit worried.
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it? My worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
Loath as I am to admit it, he is right. Still, it's more frustrating when he doesn't give me time to concede his point.
I know you two aren't getting along,
Nosy bugger.
but you should at least see the madam off before we leave. Think of her as a business associate if you must. It would not do to part on bad terms.
It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
That's none of his business. None of it. If he remembers his place, he'll drop it. I don't want to talk to Hana. Not now, when I'm so high-strung and paranoid. This whole thing is a bloody mess with everything going off at once. I'm afraid that with our troubles, I will misinterpret anything she might say or do. That'd just make the whole thing worse.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
So you have nothing then? Fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for? Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Can anyone blame me if I show the tiniest bit of interest? She's still not done with the house. And she's a nice enough woman. Plans to go back to sleep are gone.
I called her secretary about taking the day off. He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
She's probably passed out after enjoying a pint or 2 or 10 in a bar somewhere. She's an adult. It was the weekend. She's allowed to disappear and not think about work. Fuck. I wish I was passed out after a night of drinking. He does know that mobiles are a thing.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Certainly someone must know where she is. Tabs are kept without fail on people who come to work with me. Background checks and constant surveillance until they finish their contracts with the rights. Some would say that it's all a bit over the top. Okay, maybe this is back where we were? Yes. Ah, there we go. Hi, Kylie. Hope you don't mind me skipping through some things with you. She talks of Miss Pink, and I have to shift my legs to become comfortable once more. The memory of my initial meeting with her is still fresh on my mind. And the sad man in the park. Okay, what happened here? You're not with her. If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. Though I don't know if the bitter taste in my mouth is that or something else entirely. I really don't have time to process what the emotion is as the brat opens her mouth again.
You should have gone with her to the hospital. Hospitals are scary, you know.
Exactly why I didn't go. I don't like hospitals, Kylie. That's all there is to it.
I don't like them.
So you're not angry at Tia?
Why would I be angry at her? It isn't her fault she got sick.
I heard you and Tia are fighting. I heard that you might not be together anymore.
How did you hear that so quickly? I have to stop her there. Sure, it's easy for people to jump to conclusions and presume that we might be fighting, no thanks to Rochelle. But it's not common knowledge that things have actually gone sour, and, to put it in her terms, that we might not be together anymore.
Oh, well, where did you hear this from?
I heard it from a nice maid lady.
Holy, really? Takako told... So... You don't associate Takako with the nice maid lady. I mean, I guess the nice maid lady doesn't have blood and creepy smiles when she shows herself as a nice maid lady. But interesting, even you who knows Takako so well are not like, oh, it's the same person. And she told you that there's trouble in paradise, kid.
But that's still no excuse. Not when she's sick. She needs someone to hold her hand and bring her soup and make her drink medicine.
Aw, Kylie. I'm livid. Livid that one of my employees might gossip. And to a child, of all people. Who says such upsetting things to a child? But my anger dies out when Kylie starts to tear up. She holds it back in an effort to not seem so childish, I assume. Though I am honestly confused as to why such news would upset her so.
Oh, no. Look, Kylie, there's no need to cry.
I'm not going to cry.
Are you sure? You've got no reason to cry. Even if Hana and I won't be together anymore, you can still visit me and I can still visit you.
That's not the problem. Why don't you and Tia love each other anymore?
I still love her, Munchkin, and I'd like to think your Tia still does too.
Isn't that the truth? I love her. I'm just total shite at showing it. And a small part of me screams that I was not worthy to be her husband in the first place, no matter how hard I deny it. Perhaps in another time, another place, another me, I would have confessed that the whole world is nothing compared to her.
Well, why are you two fighting? You grown-ups are so stupid sometimes.
Ain't that the truth? Why? Because I'm a prat, probably. Motioning for her to come closer, I wrap my arms around and rub her back in an attempt to comfort the child. I didn't know you had it in you, Luke. Only when I feel her tears soak into my jacket did I realize that there might be something else to her worries. I've heard Suarez is not getting along too well with his wife as of late because of how busy he is with work. Ah, so it's hitting close to home. Really, I was wholly tempted to just brush her question off and say that it's a grown-up thing. I could content myself in pretending that this isn't happening. But it seems like she needs to hear this. This just makes it all the more painful to try and explain this, because I have to explain it not only for Kylie, but also for myself.
Sometimes, people fall out of love. Or they think they've fallen out of love and need time apart. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They might be angry at each other, or they might feel sad. They need time for themselves to think about each other, to know if there is still love. Maybe they'll be back together again. Or maybe it's better for both of them to move on, instead of staying together and hurting each other pretending they still love each other.
There's nothing final, but here we are, at a crossroads where the wrong step might end in heartbreak. Hana thinks we need some time apart, but we aren't done just yet.
But yes, grown-ups can be rather stupid.
You're still gonna be my friend, no matter what, Teal?
Yeah.
Of course, my life would be less exciting without a little brat like you running around and making a mess of it. And you better stay my friend, even when I get all old and wrinkly.
Kylie's shoulder shakes in laughter. She pulls away and gives me a toothy grin.
You're already old!
Rude. Wait a minute, how old is he? I feel like me and him are the same age. This is not okay. Okay, not quite. He's 3 years older than me. Phew. Phew.
But don't worry. When you die, I'll burn you and put you in a jar so I can keep you forever! Just like they did with Abuelo!
Great. My thoughts come to a grinding halt at her words, yet she goes on as if she hasn't just said such an odd thing. Why, it almost seems like the Taiko's looking forward to my funeral. As if there is no confused expression on my face, she pulls me back to our drawings, commenting on the state of my weird dog.
I think your puppy would look better magenta.
That's a big word. Magenta. Okay, let's read about that. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yes, spouting bizarre things. Okay. So we found the drawing again. Ah. There's a horrid feeling of envy. And though I have long accepted that I am a jealous person by nature, I have never felt such a strong feeling of envy as I have now. They were happy with each other, these people, but Hana and I. Envy turned into anger. Anger for something I could not have. You might be feeling some projection from Takako. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. Okay. There she is. Just run! Get out of here! Run away forever! Okay. Envy and anger. Okay, we're back at the foyer. Alright. It all comes down to this. Okay, room devoid of Hana. And... still think those two pictures should be reversed. What can one do against someone holding your life in their hands? With a woman that looks more monster than man, when her expression turns into one of amusement and her horrific laughter fills the air, I'm torn apart. This is my fault, isn't it? Hana is in danger because of me. Everybody I love always ends up hurt or worse, and even when I chose to let her go, she is no exception. Hana's unbroken begging makes it all the much more painful, because I still love Hana. I really do. But will I really endanger myself for a woman who might not love me back anymore? Still, something in me dies a little when that woman laughs as if this is all some sick joke. Her smile taunts me, filling my head with laughter and rage until I can barely think over the cacophony in my head. And the way the woman looks at me, it's as if she is watching, waiting for my next move.
Please! Someone! Anyone! Help me!
This is crazy, and I don't know what I should do. I know for a fact that one shouldn't aggravate a hostage taker. There is no winning an argument with someone who holds a life easily taken. But I need to do something, right? I just have to. Well, this worked last time. Alright. Well, we're maxed out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If I messed up, I guess I messed up. I can always come back. Go back in time. What am I doing? Why am I even hesitating? I wouldn't go so far to claim that I'm any sort of decent human being. I realize now, too, that I may not have been the best husband one could ask for, but she's still my wife. And even if she wasn't, she's still Hana. Can I really live with myself if I just stood by idly while she was in danger? That doesn't change the fact that this is all fucking insane, of course. Having all these intruders is crazy. To think about going at this thing is crazy. I can hardly classify it as a person in my eyes. Perhaps a maggot that needs to be crushed under my shoe, just like the rest of this sorry lot. But a person? Hardly. But I cared none for any of it. They didn't matter. All that matters is that Hana is in danger. But cold pours over me, freezes me in place once more when I try to make demands. I have to take deep breaths, grit my teeth, and steel my fist to even find the courage to speak up.
Let go of her! Don't hurt her! Whatever it is you want! Just don't you dare hurt her!
And if my voice isn't as firm as I'd like, it doesn't matter. I will beg and plead if I have to. On my knees, bend my fucking proud neck, and maybe even break it, just to make sure she's safe. I don't know what I would do if anything happened to Hana. The cold stillness is gone from my body, and my very skin feels like it's on fire. And I have to shout, scream at her when Hana continues to cry out in pain.
What do you want? Money? Is that it? I'll give you however much you want.
Luke, Please make it stop. I want it to stop.
Just stop whatever it is you're doing to her! Can't you see she's hurting?
I cannot stand for this.
Let go of her! Now!
I say it with such ridiculous conviction, and of course she won't listen. Why would she? She has the upper hand here. There is no reason for her to do as I ask. But her voice is but a whisper and deathly slow, and I'm hard-pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks, the woman from the gardens and the servant girl from the ballroom, from the hallucination, vision, memories, whatever they were. A hush settles over the room as we listen.
She does not love you anymore. You are nothing to her. And you wish to have him back.
Oh dang, she got super loud all of a sudden. There are no second thoughts.
Be that as it may, I still love her!
Aw.
And I will make you rue the day you were born if you don't let her go!
Though her expression doesn't change, I have this most awful feeling that it wasn't the answer she was looking for. I can see how the woman's fingers tighten around Hana's throat, hear the hitch in her breath, and I fear that I've made the worst decision in speaking out. I didn't think she would listen. Yet she does. So she still let her go. Woof. That was beautiful, really. Eventually released his wife. That face. Okay. No, okay, this is still new. A hand on Hana's back sends her falling down the stairs. I move to catch her, and that sends us both sprawling at the foot of the stairs. With my back to the ground and her on top of me, the pain doesn't even register in my head. All I can worry about is Hana as I pull the both of us off the ground and away from the stairs. Away from her.
Are you alright, Hana? Are you hurt?
It takes much too long for my liking before she speaks. All she's able to do for a moment is whimper in pain, a hand to her throat. And when she does manage to speak, her voice is far too faint along with the hold she has on my arm. It's terrifying to see her like this, and to think I nearly lost her for good.
Luke, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. She just...
It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. This isn't your fault.
For a moment we forget. But
You deserve each other.
hearing her voice triggers something in Hana, and she starts to tear up. Her face contorts into one of pain and fear. But I grab her by the shoulders to keep her in place so that she can see me and only me, and so that I can only see her too.
Look at me, Hana. Look, I'm here. You're safe. I won't let her hurt you again. Do you understand? Just breathe.
I don't know exactly what in bloody hell is going on, yet I can't find it in me to care. Whoever these people are and whatever they're here for. This is not acceptable. For all I know, this is all some dumb charade to get to me. All the times I have seen the woman before, it could have all been an act to get to me, to get under my skin. And to think they dare hurt Hana. For all that the fear that I had felt, seeing her touch Hana, I can only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not having quite gone, but anger fills me as I look at the woman, a sneer on my face.
How dare you! I don't care who you are, but how dare you touch Hana! I want you out of my house! Out before I call the police and have you put away for the rest of your miserable life! And that goes for all of you!
I hold my ground, firm and strong with my declaration. But the nerve of her! She just laughs in my face. A terrible, dreadful laugh that makes me feel as if there are ants crawling on my skin and maggots squirming into my ears.
You are telling me to get out of your house. You threatened to lock me up.
She laughs, and she laughs.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? None of this is funny!
But she persists, and it almost feels like her voice is in my head.
Oh, no different. No different. You're all the same. You can all suffer together.
And that is when everything turns to complete and utter shite. Okay. You can send us into the room. Ah. There's nothing for me here. Not anymore, nothing to keep tied to this place. With Hana planning to leave me, Shroken likely taken by this woman, nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave. I can...
Careful, Luke.
My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, familiar one, flutters down. It's this thing again.
Luke, please put that knife away. This isn't going to solve anything.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, or this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened!
Is your life all that matters to you?
What about these people here? Don't they have the same problem? What about me, Luke? Do you even care?
I care! Look at my love bar for you. It's full. I promise.
Are you taking their side? You're also stuck in this nightmare, Hana! That creature is out to get us, and you're still defending these people!
I'm not defending anyone, Luke. I'm just trying to be reasonable when you're clearly not.
Oh, of course you're not. You're just the one who bought this bloody mansion to begin with. If I didn't know any better, you did this on purpose!
Why, no. Why would I ever do that? This was only meant to be an anniversary gift. For you. For us. For the family we're going to have.
Right, anniversary gift. Oh, here's your gift, darling. Oh, by the way, there's a curse included in that package. I hope that's all right. Are you really that eager to get rid of me, Hana? Because if that's what you've been meaning to do all this time, you might as well just put a knife in my back while I'm...
Suddenly, Hana steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand. Said knife slides uselessly under the table out of my reach. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes in the side of my head, sending me reeling backwards. And she got ya! Falcon punch! She merely stands before me afterwards without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke. Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way.
That Hana is never the weak woman I believed her to be. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I can look up to, isn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall facing a man like me, the same way she has done so all those years ago, I can't help but think. Am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright. What a bunch of shite. Figures why she wants to leave me.
And these people are only trying to help us.
Oh, of course, by barging into our home! Are you really going to trust them to save your life? These peasants who brought this pox upon us!
The pox.
Keep talking about us like that, and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
Rebecca, stop! All of you stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. Okay, we're back.
Oh, I just thought, I mean, it's a straight thought, alright? Don't take my word for it.
What thought do you have? This place. Oh, it's just a straight thought.
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach?
There's still a moment where he hesitates, but Lily's urging eventually spurs him into speaking.
I was just thinking, maybe Ash is right for why he went here. This is where Bella found that thing, right? And then this.
It was just a hunch, Zach. We were not getting anywhere. But just because we went here doesn't mean we will find all the answers we need here. Hell, now we're stuck here.
Regardless, Steele pauses, allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her and her face lights up with something like... hope? Of all things, in this nightmare, hope? Her head snaps up and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance? Or a confirmation? The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glances at them baffled.
Belle, what are you... Becca, it's this place.
Okay.
Think about it.
No?
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value.
What? No? We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this!
Seriously, Luke, are you really more worried about that?
Buttercup, Marching, millions! It's gonna take years getting all that money back!
Marching, millions!
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead. Really, Luke? Is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
How dare they suggest something like that? Bloody peasants! My head's already aching just listening to them. To think this is all the solution they can come up with. I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. It doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. Okay. Before the hysterical man could harm anyone, Hana punched him in the face. Let's see. Okay, this time, I burnt the mansion last time, I'm gonna burn the letter. We'll see what happens. Maybe Kylie won't die. And it's an easy decision to make, especially with these cries growing louder. I'm getting tired of it, really. I simply have to act fast, think fast. And what else is the root cause of our problems but that letter? No need to make things more complicated. It started from there, why won't it end there? If what Mint has said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before anyone can think of passing it on to someone else. Before the situation can stretch on far too long for my taste, I snatch the blasted paper away.
Give me that.
For a second, she appears offended until I take out Mum's lighter. The sight of it shuts them all up. But I have no need for their opinion. In the next moment, I'm already setting the letter on fire. Oh. And it doesn't take too long for the thing to catch fire. It's old, for heaven's sake. Though I make sure none of the ashes end up on anything flammable. It'll be an inferno inside the study, with all the books and documents stored here. Not that a big flame's anything to worry about in this case. In fact, in a matter of minutes, the damn thing has turned to ashes on the floor. With nothing left to burn through, the fire dies. Fades into thin air and a whiff of smoke, leaving only the awful scent of burnt paper in the room. But as the last of the paper turns into cinders... Yeah? A sharp, agonized wail echoes from somewhere in the mansion before quickly dying out, taking with her the horror she has brought upon the mansion. Slowly, before our eyes, the mansion changes again. Really? Blood fading from the walls, ceilings, and the floor, returning the place to its old beauty. Gone is the darkness, quickly replaced by the artificial lights in the room. Even the smell of blood and gore has completely disappeared from the room. Perhaps the only thing undesirable left are the dumbfounded looks they're giving me.
See? Wasn't that easy?
Are you shitting me? I thought... Okay.
For fuck's sake, you people need to get your heads checked. How did you all make it this far in life with that kind of thinking?
But it made sense.
Well, you can all thank me later for this. You may now show yourselves out of my property before I call the police on you simpletons.
I walk out of the study without a single glance back at them, more than eager to finally get fresh air. They can find their way out of this place, I'm sure. I better not catch them again here, though, or I will not be happy. Wow, that was so unexpected. Uh-huh. Knowing the letter was the source of this entire fiasco, Luke Wright agreed with Mary and McCullough and started burning the paper. Soon enough, the blasted thing turned to dust while the mansion returned to its usual state, freeing them. It's over. Outside, there's only silence. Deafening. Still. The same hush that comes after a terrible storm has swept the countryside. And with it, from the wide-open windows, is the sight of the sun rising above the horizon. Ever so slowly, the sky begins to lighten before my eyes. Darkness giving way to the warm morning hues, soft rays spilling over the vast expanse of Luxburn's countryside. Nearby, the trees sway and rustle with the breeze, a passing draft that carries even into this room from outside, cold enough to make me shiver. The remains of a storm that has passed. In the distance, I can hear the soft chirping of birds while the rest of the world stirs, wakes. Dawn at last. We are free. Are we free? Okay, let's see what happened in the epilogue. For undisclosed reasons to the public, the mansion is put back on the market months later, while Briar Realty Corporation faced criminal charges filed by one Luke Wright. After the news of the lawsuit broke out and the realty company's declaration of bankruptcy, rumors quickly spread across Luxburn City. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old, and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time those will finally be revealed, only the hollowed halls of the mansion know. To this day it stands silent. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices within. Of cries and wails that fill the nights and desperate calls of help for anyone who dares listen. As for those who once tread its halls... Oh! I was wondering if it was possible for these two to get back together if their relationship was full. Okay, so I buggered that up slightly, but I can go back in time and change that with a decision. And we can see how that goes. But we got an alternate ending. After a period of brief separation, Hannah Wright returns to Luke Wright's side. Not without its fair share of challenges, of course, especially for Luke. But for the sake of their children, he tries. Although the man still fears fatherhood, afraid of becoming like his father was to him. However, with a little help from Hannah, he eventually comes around, especially when the twins are born. He's still far from being a good father. He thinks he will never be. There are parts of him that will always remain unpleasant and will exasperate Hannah to no end. But even someone like him sees the joy in this, in having a family. For the first time in a long while, he admits he's content. They're happy. I tried to get them away from each other and still. Okay, so they're still friends. What's happening here? Unknown to many, Hannah Wright has also played a huge role in getting Zach's new studio up and running. But for all of the latter's efforts to try and thank the woman, she insists keeping her investment a secret, as she merely wishes to help out, having been impressed by his skills in the field during the brief time they've worked together. Aw, she brought the kids along. A working relationship that continues to this day, as he is the only photographer she seeks at every single event she hosts, whether it's a simple social gathering or a company party. Beyond work, they also remain close friends to this day, marked by frequent visits to his studio or casual talks over lunch or dinner. A friendship that seems only to grow in time, especially after her children were born, who have become especially fond of the man. Awesome. Both has never directly answered what the real case may be. But it is clear Hannah trusts the photographer enough to place her children in his care every time she and Luke Wright leave the city for business. Although her husband's relationship with Zach is still lukewarm at best, despite her hopes, through the years he has learned to wisely keep his opinions to himself. Well, that's something. Perhaps out of respect to his wife and her close friend. Okay, very cool. So that's another new thing. You got... Oh, a long time coming. I forgot about you two goobers. The promised talk happens months later after both Rebecca Gales and Ashton Frey have recovered from the immediate repercussions of the curse. Even though things between them have started out awkward at first, with Rebecca mostly leading and Ashton having no idea what to do with the weight of the feelings the other has suddenly thrust on him. Perhaps with heavier expectations, they both come into an understanding shortly. Eventually, the two start dating. To no one's surprise, particularly those who have already gleaned the redhead's feelings for the man years ago. Usually, they can be spotted together while on a trip downtown, when they aren't busy with their respective jobs or life does not get in the way. It isn't exactly sunshine and rainbows like she has imagined all those years. Sometimes their conflicting tempers get in the way. In another, it's their difference in opinions. But with patience, instead of a spat, they both try to work through their differences. Slowly. One gradual step after another. Learning as they go. There's a difficult road ahead for them. Rebecca knows they're still quite a ways off from the fairy tale ending she has long dreamed of with him. But at the end of it, she thinks they're both happy, even if Ashton rarely says anything. He has always been that way, after all. This has been a long time coming. And after everything they have both gone through since childhood, they deserve to have this respite. Together. So they're not haunted by what happened at the mansion, unlike Bella and Ash. How interesting. Oh. Between the lingering trauma and their measly attempts at normalcy, both Ashton and Isabella know that there are things that will never be the same. Gone is their friendly banter and rapport, as are their petty arguments and light teasing. After all that has been said and done, it's only sensible for things to fall apart the way it all did. Oh, come on, can't you guys be friends? Why can't you guys be friends even if you're not smooching on each other? It is inevitable, so to speak. Yet, in brief moments when their eyes meet and a last stolen glance is given, a shadow of it can still be seen in them. A quiet, steadfast thing that remains. A trace of what could have been had things not crumbled. Neither holds on to it, of course, as much as they wish to. Both of them think it's already far too late. They can only walk away from it and leave nothing but a heavy regret in their wake. Really? Really? I feel like Ash is just kind of going out with Becca because he's kind of bullied into it. Oh, did we not get like an end credits thing because I skipped through it? Well, that's okay. I need to go back in time anyway. Okay, before I go back in time, let me just say that, none of that went the way I planned. Yeah, I mean, yay, Becca got her guy, but he really didn't have much to say about it. But it is interesting that they're not haunted by what happened in the house, unlike Bella and Ash together. Alright, well, that was my second ending, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Next time I'm gonna go back in time and get some alternate smooches. I swear it. I'll see you then.